want to turn now to a CBS News investigation and allegations that Congressman Matt Gaetz may have traveled overseas with a donor who's accused of funding the trip and paying for female escorts. The Florida Republican has broadly denied the allegations, but has confirmed that he is under federal investigation. Tonight, CBS News has learned Gaetz sought a blanket pardon in the waning days of the Trump administration and that the probe into the 38-year-old may now be expanding. Here's CBS's Major Garrett.
CBS News has learned that investigators are scrutinizing a trip Congressman Matt Gaetz took to the Bahamas with this man, Jason Pierrizzolo, a marijuana entrepreneur, Orlando hand surgeon, and donor to Gaetz.
My name is Dr. Jason Pierrizzolo with Orlando Hand Surgery Associates.
Multiple sources familiar with the federal probe tell CBS News Pierrizzolo and Gaetz traveled to the Bahamas in late 2018 or early 2019, and Pierrizzolo paid for travel expenses, accommodations, and female escorts. One key question for investigators: were the women illegally trafficked across state or international lines for the purposes of sex with the congressman?
Traveling across state lines is what creates a federal hook for a prosecution.
Does it matter whether he paid them or not?
It doesn't matter that he personally paid them, as long as he knows someone is doing that.
Investigators also want to know if Gaetz was accepting paid escorts in exchange for political access or legislative favors. In a 2018 podcast, Pierrizzolo highlighted Gaetz's push for legislation expanding federal cannabis research, something that could have been a boon to Pierrizzolo and other marijuana merchants.
In fact, Congressman Matt Gaetz is in the process of working on legislation up in Washington, D.C. that will help facilitate research on a nationwide level, and we should see a lot of good benefit from that.
Gaetz introduced the cannabis bill twice, but it never came to a vote.
If there's evidence of a quid pro quo, that the congressman was provided with benefits in return for him sponsoring some legislation that's of interest to the donor, that's a federal crime.
Pierrizzolo did not respond to our repeated attempts to contact him.
Dr. Pierrizzolo?
So we met him this morning outside his Orlando office.
Did you pay for escorts for Congressman Matt Gaetz? Can you tell us about your relationship with Matt Gaetz?
He told us no comment. A conservative activist now authorized to speak on behalf of Gaetz told CBS News in part, quote, "Representative Gaetz has never paid for sex, nor has he had sex with an underage girl. What began with blaring headlines about sex trafficking has now turned into a general fishing exercise about vacations and consensual relationships with adults." The Justice Department, Norah, declined to comment on our new reporting.
Major Garrett with all that new information. Thank you.